Greetings all and welcome to another series on AlgoFox Academy. In the last series, we saw basics of stock markets. In this series, we are going to learn futures and options in detail and also learn how to profitably trade in them. In today's class, we are going to learn about futures in detail. Now, future and options are also called as derivatives of Indian stock markets. Let us understand why are they called as derivatives. Now, derivative, as the name suggests, are the products that are derived from some primary source. To give you an example, cheese, paneer, ghee, these are all derivatives of milk. That is, milk is the primary source and cheese, paneer and ghee are derived from them. Similarly, in Indian stock markets, every stock goes up and down depending upon the buyers and sellers, and depending upon their values going up and down, the corresponding futures and options values also go up and down, and hence future and options are called as derivatives. In today's class, we are going to learn in detail how future price goes up and down, what drives them, and what exactly is future contract. So let us understand this in complete detail with a very simple example. Consider a chips manufacturing company like Lay's, whose main ingredient is potato. Now, Lay's wants to find out best quality of potato at the best price in the market. Lay's will go to different farmers and assign them big contracts. Let us say Lay's assigns each farmer a contract to buy 10 ton of potato. Now 10 ton is a big quantity, and because of which even farmers would be willing to take up that opportunity. Now when farmers are taking this opportunity, farmer will also tell the deadline in which they are able to produce 10 ton of potato. Let us say in our example, farmers need 3 months of time to produce 10 ton of potato. Now when Lay's and farmers will discuss the price at which they should do this agreement, they will also refer to the market price. For example, in the market, the price of potato is 20 rupees per kg. Now, when Lay's company and farmers will come to a negotiation, they will negotiate and let us say come to a conclusion to agree a contract at 10 rupees per kg. Now this 10 rupees per kg is indirectly derived from the market price of 20 rupees per kg. Now, the reason why farmers have agreed at 10 rupees per kg is because even farmers know that it's a very big quantity coming into their hand and they can get good earnings out of it. Now, if the market price would have been, let us say, 100 rupees per kg, farmers would have never agreed at 10 rupees per kg. They would have demanded at least 40 or 50 rupees per kg. So you see, when farmers and the chips manufacturing companies coming into an agreement, they always refer to the market price to derive the contract price, and hence such contracts are also called as derivatives of the market price. Let us say farmers decide to go ahead with 10 rupees per kg and decides to deliver 10 ton of potato at, let us say, on 1st of December. So 1st of December will also be called as expiry, because on 1st of December, farmers and chips manufacturing company will meet again and they will exchange money and potato. So big companies come into such contracts to make sure they are safe from the market fluctuations. For example, if they did not come into this contract and if they directly go to buy potato on 1st of December, the prices can be anything. For example, if the price would have gone to 50 rupees per kg, Lay's company would have had a massive loss, because in this case, in the contract case, they could lock the price at 10 rupees per kg, but if they directly go to buy, then they would have to negotiate. Similarly, from farmers' point of view also, farmers also get security. If the prices on December 1st would have fallen down to 5 rupees per kg in the market, they would have had to sell their potato at a cheaper price. But by coming into the contract, both buyer and seller locks a price which is also called as future price, which will ensure that their contract is safeguarded from the market fluctuations. These contracts are also standardized. That means there is no scope of negotiation. Once the date, price and quantity is fixed, it will not change no matter what. And such contracts are also available in Indian stock markets, also called as stock future contracts. Let us talk about them and understand the terminologies associated with Indian future contracts one by one. The first term that we are going to discuss today is lot, also called as lot size. Now, lot is the minimum number of shares you need to buy or sell as a buyer or a seller. You have to trade in multiple of lots only. For example, State Bank of India has a lot size of 3000. That means you need to buy or sell 3000 or multiple of 3000 shares in Indian futures. In equity, you could have bought any number of shares. For example, in the State Bank of India, you could have bought 5 shares, 10 shares, 20 shares, so forth and so on. But when it comes to futures, you have to buy or sell in terms of lots only. Different stocks have different lot size depending upon their market price. If the market price is big, the lot size will be small. And if market price is small, lot size will be big. For example, Maruti has a current market price of 8,800 and its lot size is just 100. Whereas Punjab National Bank has a market price of just 40 and its lot size is 16,000. That means you need to buy or sell 16,000 shares of Punjab National Bank in one lot. Also, not every company has their futures and options listed. There are few criterias by SEBI. Only when a company passes all these criteria, those companies are eligible to list into futures and options. Currently, there are close to 200 companies on National Stock Exchange which has their futures and options. The eligibility criteria given by SEBI is the market cap should be in top 500 companies of India. Second, the average daily delivery value of the stock should be more than 10 crore in the last 6 months consecutively. The sigma order size should be above 25 lakh. Fourth, the market-wide position limit should be above 500 crore, so forth and so on. Once a company qualifies among all these criteria and maintains them for 6 consecutive months, then they become eligible to list their futures and options in the market. So the next term after lot that we are going to discuss is expiry. Expiry is the day on which the contract will expire and the settlement will take place. In our example of Lay's and Farmer, the expiry was 1st of December when Farmer decided to produce 10 ton of potato and give it to the chips manufacturing company. Similarly, in Indian market, last Thursday of every month is the expiry of the contract. If last Thursday is the holiday, then last Wednesday becomes the last day of the contract. That means after that day, the value of that contract is 0 and the settlement will happen on the day of expiry. For example, if you are in October month, 27th October is also called as expiry of the October month because 27th October is the last Thursday of October. From 28th October, technically November contract will start and November contract will end on the last Thursday of November. In Indian markets, we always have 3 contracts running simultaneously, T plus 2 contracts. That means current month plus next 2 months contract. If we are in the month of October, then October, November and December 3 contracts will run simultaneously. Each contract will have their expiry on their respective last Thursday. As a user, you can buy or sell any contract at any point. That means even in the month of October, you can buy or sell November or December month contract. So if you want to hold a particular contract for the long time, you can buy the farthest contract. In our example, you can buy the December contract. One very important point to note here is that in future contracts, you can carry forward both long and short position till expiry. Now this is a little different than equity markets. Remember, in equity markets, we saw long position does not have any expiry. That means you can carry forward a position forever. However, short position had an expiry of intraday. That means you had to square off a position within a day if you are doing a short position. But in futures, both long and short position can be carried forward till expiry. Now this gives an advantage to bearish trader. If you are bearish for a particular trade, or if you feel that the market is going to go down, as an equity trader, you could not take advantage because you had to wind up your position every single day. Whereas when you're trading in futures, you can short a position and carry that trend till expiry and catch the entire bearish rally. For a bearish trader, trading in futures has a big advantage. Now, getting back to our three contracts, that is October, November and December, you will generally observe that these contracts have prices greater than the equity market price. That means, for example, if State Bank of India's stock price is, let us say, 543, then October contract price will be, let us say, 545, November month price will be, say, 547, and December month price can be, let us say, 550. It is generally observed that future contracts are always costlier than the equity prices. Now let us understand in detail why are the prices of futures greater than the spot price. Every country has government bond and other investment options like FD that provides almost risk-free rate of return. In Indian market also we have Indian government bonds and other asset classes like FD and post office savings which can provide us risk-free rate of return. In India, the risk-free rate of return is approximately 8%. That means if you invest smartly into government bonds, you can yield up to 8% returns risk-free. Now, risk-free return is also denoted by RF. Now, whenever we consider future value of a particular company, we also undertake this risk-free rate of return into picture. For example, consider a company whose share price is 100 rupees and its market capital is also of 100 crore rupees. Now, we don't know after a year whether it will be profitable or it will be loss making. But considering it plays very safe, it can invest its entire 100 crore rupees into government bond and can yield risk-free 8% return. So, after a year, 100 crore will become 108 crore. In other words, the current market price from 100 will become 108. So, whenever we are calculating the future price, we always undertake this risk-free rate of return and we add it to the current market price to factor in that the company will minimum produce risk-free rate of return in its growth. Similarly, when we are evaluating the future expiry dates value, then for the equity price we add this RF with compounded interest. So the future price will become spot price into e to the power of RF into T, where RF is your risk-free rate of return and T is time till expiry. The more time we have till expiry, the greater is the future price compared to the spot price, and hence you will see November and December month contracts are costlier than October month. The difference between future price and spot price is also called as premium, and generally all future contracts has premiums which is correspondingly equal to risk-free rate of return. So now you know why future prices have value greater than the equity value. However, very rarely you will see future price less than spot price. Now this is an abnormal activity. This usually happens when there is a bad news related to a particular company and everyone wants to sell the shares and get rid of that company. When everyone is panic selling a particular stock, even future prices goes down below the stock price. And in such cases, when future price is less than the spot price, the difference between future price and equity price is also called as a discount. So if a future is having a premium is a normal activity. That means if the future price is greater than spot price, it is normal. However, if the future price is running in a discount, that means if future price is less than the spot price, it indicates weakness in the market. After expiry, let's now talk about rollover. Rollover is nothing but shifting from one contract to another contract of the same stock to extend the validity. For example, you enter State Bank of India October contract when the current market price is 540. You buy one lot at 540 price and your target is 600 rupees. You're expecting State Bank of India to go up. But let us say by the time we reach to 27th October, that is on the day of expiry, the price of State Bank of India is just 560. You're very confident that the price will go to 600 and you want to carry forward this trade. Well, there is no option because on the day of expiry, you will have to exit your position. In such case, you will exit the current October contract and immediately buy November month contract at 560 rupees. So in this process, you are shifting from current contract to the next contract so that now the new contract is valid till the November expiry. So this process to increase the validity is also called as rollover, where you are rolling over from one contract to another contract of the same script. Next term that we are going to discuss is margin. Margin is the minimum amount needed to maintain in your Demat account to be eligible to buy or sell one lot of a particular futures. Now consider the example of State Bank of India. State Bank of India's current market price is 540 and lot size is 3000. So value of one lot is 540 into 3000, which approximately comes down to over 16 lakh rupees. A retail trader like you and me cannot have 16 lakh rupees in our account to trade one lot. And SEBI says you need not maintain the entire money in your account. However, a portion of it is more than enough to ensure that you can carry forward one lot till expiry. And that portion is called as margin. In our example, the margin of State Bank of India is 3,05,000 rupees. That means in just 3,05,000 rupees, I can carry forward one lot of State Bank of India till expiry, be it on the long side or on the short side. Different stocks have different stock price and lot size, and hence their margin will also differ. You can check out the margins required for each stock in Zerodha margin calculator. After margin, let us now talk about index. Index is nothing but a basket of stocks which tells us the overall health of the composite of that basket. The two main indices in Indian market are Nifty and Bank Nifty. Nifty is an index of NSE and it is made up of top 50 companies of India. So if you remove F from 50 and replace it with N of NSE, it becomes Nifty, indicating Nifty is made up of top 50 companies of India. The composite of Nifty is based upon the market value. Every company has a different market value, and according to their market value, the weightage is given to them. And when these companies goes up and down, Nifty will also go correspondingly up and down. So that means among the top 50 companies of India, if majority of them are going up and only few of them are going down, Nifty will go up. Similarly, if majority of them are going down and only a few of them are going up, Nifty will also go down. Just like Nifty, we have Bank Nifty, and Bank Nifty is made up of top 12 banks of India. Again, if the top banks goes up, Bank Nifty will be positive, and if top bank goes down, Bank Nifty will also be negative. Index basically tells us the overall health of a particular sector or overall market. For example, Bank Nifty will tell us the overall health of the banking sector. The advantage of futures is that you can even trade into indices like this. You can even buy and sell Nifty and Bank Nifty just like stock futures. Nifty has a lot size of 50. It also has last Thursday as its expiry. Similarly, Bank Nifty has a lot size of 25, and again it also has last Thursday as the expiry. So all the properties of stock futures are applicable to index future. This is again a big advantage compared to equity market. In equity market, you can never buy or sell indices. Whereas in futures and options, you can buy and sell indices also to make money in them. So this is a brief introduction about Indian future market. In the next video, I am going to take you live to my Demat account and I am going to show you how to buy and sell Indian future stocks and indices and what are the key major differences between equities and futures. See you in the next lesson.